be the first discussion, but since artificial intelligence is something that is pretty much important, we thought we'll make this the final one. Don't worry, I'll keep this as short as possible. As the title suggests, what successful admissions mean in the next decade, right? There's one weird pattern that I've been observing for the past 3 years, wherein institutions were talking about the number of leads they were receiving, number of leads each publisher was providing. At the same time, what kind of a role are consultants going to play in the admissions life cycle? Whereas now it has completely been changed. Now we are talking about the number of enrollments, the quality of students, the sustainability of the institution. At the same time, what is the growth life cycle for the students during the admission process and also post the admission process, right, once they join the institution. On the same lines, I would like to have a discussion with, we'll begin with Srikanth sir first because, so sir, my first question is, I've noted, I've written down around 7-8 questions. I feel that all of these are going to be very insightful, the answers for all of these. So sir, the first question is, admissions teams have specifically been driving on the basis of application volume and admission numbers and the enrollment numbers basically. But what do you think are the other outcomes on which the success should actually be measured?
Very good evening to one and all. Actually, the institutes or the marketing people, we get lot of applications. A lot of applications, again, this is the process of application, next form filling, and after the form filling, it will turn into admission, and after turning into the admission, there will be a window called as withdrawal, and after the withdrawal, then it is called final admission, which is just we say it is in class. So in this entire process, whoever stays in class, that is called the real admission. And if you take about, if you feel about successful admission means, successful admission will be in the 3 ways. One, as a parent, you should feel that my son or daughter has a good successful admission. The university should think that is a successful admission, and the marketing teams, whatever it is, they should think it is a successful admission. So if you take from the perspective of the student, successful admission will go in such a way like what about the placement? What about the academics? How strong the university is there in alumni? And whether if these admissions come from referral, that means through the internal students who have studied like alumni and everything, then it is a very good admission. So this will come into the mind of the student, like how it is successful admission. So in the case of a parent, if you take, it will become a successful admission once he gets a good placement and good career oriented and everything. And if you take it in the sense of university, like you take academics and everything, whether the student is quality student or not, whether he is able to come and grab the knowledge or not. These all factors play, and then only it is called a successful admission.
Okay, great. That was insightful actually. I actually had another follow-up question to it, but I want Purna sir to also give his insights on this.
Same.
Yes.
Okay. Very good evening to all of you. First of all, thanks to Meritto for giving me this opportunity. So, in this current generation and in the next decade, as the topic suggests, the successful admission is going to be the fitment of the admission. So nowadays, as we have multiple tools to fill admissions, filling admissions is no more a challenge actually. So you have offline marketing, online marketing, data nurturing, AI, all these things are helping you. But the right fitment of the student is going to play a key role. And the second most important thing in the successful admission is, these are all these our employees we are calling as marketing people. But I think in the next decade, this is going to be converted as a career counselors. So what parents and students are looking in this generation right now is not about the university information or the college information. How the college course is going to be suitable for that particular student, how this career is going to be useful for them. So whichever is the institute or brand which is converting this into an admission process to a career counseling process, that is going to have an advantage in the next decade. And that's going to be the need of the hour is what I feel.
Okay, that's another added point, sir. Thank you so much for that. Just to follow it up, Daman ma'am, I just wanted, if you are in line with the insights so far, What do you think, which parts of the student admission journey is currently causing major friction?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the question. Which part of student journey is currently causing friction? Lack of response, delayed response, unclear information, too much clutter. I think a child today, a student today is cluttered with so much of information that we, as an industry, education industry, are going ahead and confusing them further. What we see is now students will start relying upon life testimonies. Our life testimony is our existing student, existing place. So this, I feel, is going to reduce the friction.
Ma'am, do you think that AI is going to create a major impact in these lines?
It will. It will. I think a lot of human engagement today will be replaced by AI. It is going to be there for good. So for an industry who is, for people who are, at the front end of admissions and for the student, I think our jobs are going to get easier because we will know a pattern. If a student is coming, what are the number of times the student is visiting our website, or a number of times they are looking at our social media, what is the level of interest. It is going to help us or nurture a prospect better. And for the student, they will, rather than going everywhere, I think the AI is going to help them customize. I give them what they need, answer questions, what is going to be suitable for them, which college, which career, which course. It is going to help in both the ways.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Srinivas sir, I want your insights as well because you come from a pretty academic background. What do you think, from the academician's perspective, would add value to meaning something as a successful admission?
Sir, now the days have changed. Good evening. The days have changed. Instead of volume to quality, quantity to quality, it has changed. It is in that. And because lot of university websites, heavy data and less guidance, it is there. The present generation want the quick solution because they order everything in Amazon, they want banking, everything in the seconds, in the minutes, they want the result, it is in that. But many of the admission process will take more time to give answer to that. Further, they are not in a position to accept it, is that. They want a very quick response. For that quick response, what you are saying, it is in that, just before the session, it is there. AI may be really helpful, it is in that. But AI alone may not solve the entire thing, but the continuity and the engagement will be done by the AI. But later stage, human touch is also required, it is in that, but at least in the final stage. Not to leave the candidate, not to leave the one admission application, it is in that. AI will really help to touch everyone, but final conversion with the human touch, we can make it in that. In the present situation, the admission is not based on the volume or the number and the revenue generation. It is the right candidate at the right place. That is the most important thing, it is in that. Because they are seeing about that, their future. Because admission is the first point of entry into the university system, it is in that. But it should be, suppose a student will withdraw after one semester or after 3 months, means that is really is a failure of admission, it is in that.
Right.
For that, the present day it required a touch with AI and both human touch, it's required to make it success in admission, it is in that.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Venkat sir, my next question is to you. Right, so we have talked about getting successful admissions through advent of AI, probably design of the curriculum and all of that. Could you highlight on how can an admissions team ensure that no prospective students falls through the cracks during the peak admission cycle?
Good evening all. Peak admission season, it is like monsoon for the admission team. Like they are very busy and they are unable to answer the questions, are unable to continuously phones are ringing and lot of students are calling or walk into the campuses. So the major drawback what happens is engaging the student is the very important thing so that we will give the right information to the student in the right time. So we have to, from the beginning, we have to plan at least 90 days or maybe 3 months, we have to plan our how to engage the student, how to answer the students rightly, or we can train our what we call counselors in a right way so that they can answer all the telecalls and follow-ups have done, and any student is coming. So majorly what happens is when the student comes, there is a lot of gap in giving the information. You see, counselor will talk about one information. Counselor will give one information. After that, they will meet in any one of the what we call campus tour or maybe any educational fairs. They will give the different information. To make sure that we have to plan for this, what we call admission season to be successful in this sense, we have to plan at least 3 months before how to handle things, and we have to train our team in a proper manner so that there will not be any information. You see, if you are not giving information in a right manner, the student will anyway drop out and the application will go. And most of the times this happens, the student don't know once the application is filled, what is the next step. Majorly, if we are not making them to understand what are the next steps, it is where the leak happens most of the times. So we have to, anyway, we have lot of students coming in at the admission season, so we have to cater our services in a right manner so that everybody can be addressed what are the problems they have. Then only we can control these leaks.
Okay. So, sir, in the previous panel discussion, right, Mr. Kishore Babu was talking about, he was taking an example of Mahindra Automotives, that they could sell 50,000 vehicles in 3 days, whereas it took a pretty long time to sell a similar amount of vehicle before an AI software was used, right? So, sir, I just wanted to understand, do you think that, a human factor is going to play a major role in the admissions, or do you think that getting an AI software in place and just running those manually would help in a better way?
I feel AI is a layer where I'll tell you very clearly. If we are talking about AI is the engine for the car, and at the end of the day, human is the driver. So, anyway, if you are using AI, as in the previous presentation you have shown that there are, we have engagement. You see, I have larger data. I cannot connect to the students with a 15 counselors or 20 counselors. So we can use AI to connect to the students, and we will we make sure that the lead qualification happens. After that, it will reaches to the counselor. So the productivity of the counselor also will increase. So to increase the productivity, we can use AI as a tool. And for communication systems, we can use AI perfectly, right time, so that you see these days students are very they don't have less patience. They are habituated to Zomato and all those things as previously. So we have to give the information. We can use that once the lead comes in, not only qualification part, we can give the information to the students through WhatsApp or whatever may be. We can automate so many things through AI. You can use it as a layer, but at the end of the day, human touch is required to conversions, quality conversions.
Okay.
That's what I feel.
Shrikant sir, your insights on that.
AI is only, it will give the quality of the data, but human intervention is required. Because AI itself cannot sell admission, highly, because it gives the quality data, the percentage of the student, what are the marks and everything, what he is looking for in that, whether our university or our thing is having that one or not, it will give a quality insight towards the data. From that onwards, the marketing teams or the admission teams should take it forward, and human intervention will always give successful admission. This is only, AI will only test the quality. For example, we got lot of leads. This AI will help us to identify the quality leads in that. After the quality, AI cannot close direct admission.
Absolutely.
But in front of, like I have seen in the last presentation, they are asking about hostel fees, scholarships. Do you really mean that everybody, there are so many things in scholarships. It should be clearly explained. If I say directly I will give this much percent, there are a lot of things based on past academic record, semester-wise scholarship, lot of things will be there. So for that, AI cannot do all things. So human intervention will always give quality and successful admission. AI is only a data which helps the marketing teams to identify the quality data. We will receive lakhs of leads. through Meritto. So there, why are we segregating? Like if you take the leads previously, we are getting just leads. It will lead belongs to so many of the vendors. Now we have strategized and now we are using it. Now primary lead is there, secondary lead there. So primary lead is the, who is the owner will get the primary. So like that AI will help in identifying the correct vendor or correct lead or quality lead. Then we have to have the rest of the process. That is the idea.
So, sir, we have actually arrived at a point which Poorna sir had mentioned. He was talking about the same thing, about the human factor. Now, sir, again coming to another question. If we are not going to, I mean, since we are talking about AI, that AI is going to qualify the leads, AI is going to push them to an extent, but there is a human factor added to it. What do you think would be the parameters on which a counselor should now be gauged? If not on the number of calls, if not on the number of communications and or activities, do you think is there any additional parameter on which, which should ideally be included into their KRAs?
So, in the current scenario, it is more of information driven. It is all about the quality of the conversation which is going to make a difference. Some people might be able to effectively communicate and convince in 2 minutes. Some people might take more time. It is not going to be the number of calls or the call duration which is going to be the parameter. Quality of the conversation is going to be the major parameter. I think with the help of artificial intelligence, I think every conversation can be rated, and that quality of conversation is going to be the parameter. And the second thing with respect to artificial intelligence, it is not about how you use artificial intelligence as an institute. It is all about how customer is going to use artificial intelligence to judge you. So customer is actually going to use artificial intelligence to eliminate you, not to select you. Right. So he is going to, so gone are the days where SEO is going to work. There is going to be a future term called AIO. You have to do artificial intelligence optimization also.
Right.
So because once upon a time you used to do SEO so that you will get featured. But people are not searching in search engine anymore now. People are directly asking a question like, which is the best university in Hyderabad? Are you featuring in that or not? Which is the best college in Hyderabad? Are you featuring in that or not? What are the pros and cons of this particular university? There is a straight question to chatbot or artificial intelligence thing. That is going to give an answer. That is going to decide your future. So obviously you have to do optimization in artificial intelligence in future. That is going to be the next challenge where the technology players and the institute also need to focus. So because nowadays also people are using, customer is using artificial intelligence to eliminate you, not to select you. So he don't want to reach out to 10 people, he want to reach out to one person. He is using AI in that direction. You might give 100 informations, that is your product, but he is not using the same information. Maybe this is my point of view for future.
Absolutely, sir. That's a food for thought for me as well. And I think I'll probably think over it for a couple of weeks now. Daman ma'am, over to you. Since you interact with your counselors day in, day out in a larger, in a broader aspect, do you think what are the parameters they should be gauged on, if not on the number of calls and all, like Poorna sir was mentioning?
Number of parameters that the counselors now must be gauged on, I think validating what we are showing. See, we are with AI, and I think Meritto is doing a brilliant job in helping us nurture, removing the junk, and bringing the right set of audience. And then we are creating systems digitally wherein they are now getting information, judging us based on what we are showing them. Post that is where we are talking about the human intervention or the counselors. I think it is more of guidance. It is more of counseling and validating what we are showing. So the it is very important. I mean, the team personally where we work, we don't believe in hardcore sales. It's all about validation. So along with Meritto, along with the AI, along with the digital components that we work, or different campaigns that we run, it's extremely important that what we show, we say, we validate. I think that's one area that we counselors as such really need to work on. And other than that, I think it is guidance, guiding them, giving them the right information, career guidance. These are the pretty much components of everything that comes in what a human is supposed to do.
So to summarize this entire discussion, Venkat sir, do you think training your counselors in the right direction is going to play a major part, and what are the ideal steps that we should be, ideal things that we should be considering when we try to train our counselors?
When we are training our counselors, we should have a unified information at all points. Because any lead is coming, the lead should be maintained by the single counselor from application to admissions and enrollments. After that, what happens is, once the application comes, most of the counselors stop following the students, where the leak, most of the leaks happens. So, and second thing is, whenever our teams also going outside, across all the platforms, we have a unified information to the student, so that what happens is, when the information unmatches in between two people in the same organization, the parent comes to unrest and they start dropping out. So I'll ask all my counselors to what we call, they have to be on the same page, so that whatever they are pitching, that unified information will be given to the students regarding, it may be scholarships or anything. So there will not be any deviation in between the teams. Like I always try to sync in between my counselors and my managers, so that there will not be any what we call different informations in the different platforms. So that will make compulsorily a good admission. We can say that we can build trust majorly if we will give the unified information across all the platforms.
Srinivas sir, from the academician's perspective, do you have anything to add to this insight?
Regarding counselors, it is
Right, regarding training the counselors in the right direction, and what aspect should we include?
counselors is important, it is in that always. But simply you can observe in that earlier 10 counselors, after adding AI, the number will come down to 5. But the output is increasing in that. Because we can't say that AI is important, because how it is important, the way it is using is also important. It requires proper training to the counselors also, how to use AI and the technology to make it in that. Human touch is, without human touch we can't finalize the leads, it is in that. But by using AI, by proper training how to use the AI and the prompting to that AI, it is in that, it will definitely reduce the expenditure, it is also make it faster and to make it in that. But the counselor should require proper training in that particular area also, that is the most essential in that.
Great, sir. Thank you everybody for your insights. I today carry a lot of insights on this thing, on how do we term an admission to be very successful. Although I cannot wait until the next evolve to happen to again discuss on the same. I'll stay in touch with all of you to gather your insights again in a broader level, because it is ultimately going to be a value addition to the entire community again. Thank you so much for this discussion.